I typed as an INFP most of my life, but only as an INFJ in the last year, and I'm 36 years old. Is this normal? It can be normal. I typed as an INTJ for probably 3 or 4 years before I figured out that I was an INFJ. It can be normal. It doesn't mean that you've changed or that your personality type has changed. It means that maybe you were mistyped in the past. Maybe you're mistyped now. It really just depends, honestly. So I would go back to the Myers-Briggs website and look at the difference between judging and perceiving. So the basic definition is judging and perceiving is the structure of your life, right? So it says, in dealing with the outside world, do you prefer to get things decided, or do you prefer to stay open to new information and options? If you're more decided, you have a judging personality type. If you like options, then you have a perceiving personality type. I'll give you a real life example of this because it's so blatantly obvious. My niece has a perceiving personality type and I have a judging personality type. So even in little things like going into a restaurant, she doesn't know what she wants to eat, especially if it's a new restaurant. She wants to try everything on the menu, but we don't have that kind of money. So it's like, okay, just pick one thing. And it's almost like an existential crisis asking her to pick one thing, because she'll sit there and just go back and forth, and she just doesn't know, and she can't make a decision, and it turns into like this massive problem, right? For me, I look at the menu and I'm like, this is what I want. Like, I know exactly what I want. I probably knew what I wanted before we went to the restaurant. I probably looked at the menu before we went to the restaurant. So I've learned, like, in order to deal with that, we have strategies now of like, okay, we're going to a new restaurant. So look at the menu ahead of time, 2 or 3 days ahead of time, and try to narrow it down to like what sounds the best. What's the most related to other things that you have tried in the past? Generally, her decision making is like that all the time. She doesn't know. And I've tried every single strategy to help her make a decision, right? I've tried, like, let's make a pros and cons list. Let's, think about the bigger picture. And thinking about the bigger picture for her is like, even that's like the worst thing. So I wouldn't go there because she generally doesn't know. So, you just try different things to try to make a decision and figure out which one works. There are times for me when I struggle with making a decision, and generally it is bigger decisions. It's like, am I going to move across the country? Am I going to start a new career? Anything that's like really big and life-changing, those are the decisions that I struggle with. And I might even play around with different ideas for 6 months or a year, but ultimately I settle on one thing and stick to it. And I usually have that existential crisis feeling like nothing is ever going to be okay again until I make a decision. And then once I make a decision, then everything is fine. But I've noticed that the difference is I can make a decision and then stick to that decision, but my niece doesn't feel fine when she makes a decision. She questions that decision over and over and over and over again. So I feel like, that's like a real life example of, are you perceiving or are you judging? You can feel like you have a perceiving personality type. Like I've questioned that in the past, but I think about how I feel once I've made a decision. Does it make me feel trapped when I'm narrowed things down to just one thing? And it doesn't make me feel trapped. It makes me feel calm. It makes me feel like everything is okay again. And I've heard that people who have perceiving personality types, they feel really bad once they've narrowed it down. Like they have to have multiple options.
Learn more about your INFJ personality on my podcast, The Quiet Ones. The Quiet Ones is a weekly show where we dive into understanding self-love, depression, anxiety, and so much more from an INFJ perspective. I offer up in-depth coaching and unmatched empathy. Join me for an amazing personal growth experience. The Quiet Ones podcast is available on all major podcast platforms and at thequietonespodcast.com.
Hi there! I just wanted to take a minute to say thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Please consider subscribing to my channel. I'm working very hard to produce content that will help you, and I really appreciate your support. Also, if you want some more inspiration, check out this video right here.